Welcome back to Recap Channel. The Last Son is a Western movie starring Sam Worthington, Thomas Jane, Heather Graham, and Colson Baker. Worthington plays Isaac LeMay, an outlaw who used to work for the army and committed terrible acts against Cheyenne tribes. As punishment, a Cheyenne chief cursed LeMay with a prophecy detailing his murder at the hands of one of his own bloodline. To prevent the prophecy from coming true, LeMay decides to hunt down and kill his children. But does he survive the prophecy? Or does one of his kin kill him? Let's take a closer look at the movie. LeMay begins his quest by meeting various prostitutes in order to unintentionally bear children. One of these prostitutes, Anna, works at a saloon in Virginia City called 2-1. After killing Lionel, LeMay heads to the saloon to ask Anna about the location of the other twin. She tells him he is mistaken and that there is no other twin, but knowing she is lying, he brutally attacks her in a rage. He then goes after another of his children, Megan, who is now living in the woods with her mother and stepfather. When LeMay locates Megan, he hands her his gun to see if she is a threat. When she doesn't pull the trigger, he decides she isn't the child spoken of in the prophecy, so leaves her alone. However, her stepfather isn't so fortunate as LeMay kills him after crossing paths with the unfortunate fellow on the way out of the area. Where is Cal? LeMay doesn't realize that Megan, who has revenge on her mind after the death of her stepfather, has followed him to the encampment. After witnessing her father with the infant, she heads out into the wilderness to plan her next move against him. Does LeMay kill any more of his children? We first meet Cal and his crew robbing a bank. He later visits his mother at the saloon, where she warns him about his father. She begs him to leave for Canada, but instead, he decides to raise a small army to go up against LeMay. Anna didn't want to raise Cal in a brothel, so she left him at the Virginia City home for boys. As an adult, Cal joined the army where he was trained as a Gatling gun loader. After being dishonorably discharged, he became an outlaw and roamed the land killing army men and robbing banks. After locating Megan, LeMay continues his search for his children and discovers one of them at an encampment. Unlike Megan and Cal, who are now grown up, this child is an infant. He takes the child from his mother's arms, and while we don't see LeMay kill the baby, we can assume that he does so. Megan manages to get a gun, and Cal assembles the men and ammunition he needs to kill her father. When LeMay is captured by Solomon, an army lieutenant who has been hired by bounty hunters to track him down, he is taken to Virginia City and placed in a prison cell. Megan and Cal also descend on Virginia City, and the scene is set for one last showdown between the father and his children. Before the confrontation takes place, Solomon visits Anna, who is seemingly in love with him. He thinks she is harboring Cal, the man he was tracking before LeMay became his main target, and he asks her to reveal his location. She is reluctant to do so, but Cal turns up anyway and shoots Solomon dead before the army official can do the same to him. Meanwhile, LeMay manages to escape from his cell and he begins to take out the men Cal has assembled. After wiping them all out, there is a face-off between him and his last son on the street. LeMay is armed with a Gatling gun, but despite firing off several shots at his father, LeMay miraculously survives. The two men walk towards one another, pistols in hand, and a shootout begins. Both men are riddled with bullets, but it's Cal who comes off worse as he is killed during the encounter. LeMay is not yet free of his curse, as Megan arrives behind him. "Hello, father," she says before shooting him. She then gets on her horse and rides out of town. During the final narration, we learn that Megan didn't wait to verify to see if LeMay was dead. As such, there is a chance that he could still be alive, but as we suspect he probably was killed by his daughter, it can be assumed that the prophecy did come true. Was Cal the last son? Cal may have been LeMay's last son, but as we hear in the voiceover during the film's closing scenes, Megan went on to live a quiet life in Carson City where she bore 3 children to her husband, 2 girls, and a last child, her son. Therefore, we know that LeMay didn't end his family's bloodline. Cal may have died at his father's hands, but the last son, Megan's child, survived. If LeMay didn't die, there is a chance that he could embark on a mission to kill Megan's son, thus ensuring the prophecy doesn't come true. This could form the basis for a sequel, but as we think the prophecy did come true via his murder at the hands of Megan, the story of LeMay has probably ended.